Welcome into the Friday edition of the Jordy Culotta Show.
Let's go.
Live here from the UDL, presented by Go Chevrolet. Remember, online, GEAUXChevrolet.com. Get in touch with our crew. Lee Carney, who finished second place overall in our bracket challenge.
Great.
326 entries in Carney number 2. He asked last night what his prize is. More gear for you, Lee. Be dropping it off to you at some point over the next couple of days. But remember, Go Express has their new used car lot as it is opened up here in Florida Boulevard, on Florida Boulevard in Baton Rouge. Get in touch with Lee and Nick. Looking forward to our conversation. Jim Nickel will be inside of the UDL coming up here at 7:45 this morning. We'll get the latest from Nickel on the LSU and Senate hearings that went down yesterday, but also some of the highlights to look forward to coming up in this legislative session that begins next week up at the state capitol. Outside of LSU, what are some of the top issues that the Senate and the House of Representatives will be debating and looking to turn into law over the next 3 months? We will talk to Jim Nickel coming up here at 7:45 this morning. 7:30, we're going to go to Lexington, Kentucky, and talk to Eddie Smith, who is the hitting coach for LSU. We'll ask him about some of the challenges tonight and this weekend as Cole Stoop, who is a top 5 pitcher in the SEC, will be going for the Wildcats. How does his offense get prepared for that arm? We'll talk to Coach Smith coming up here at 7:30 this morning. 8 a.m., we'll check in with Barstool Sports Ben Mintz, and at 8:30, we'll go up to New York City today as Nathan Velasquez checks in with our 5-minute critic live from Broadway this morning.
Coast to coast for the
Telling
kid.
you, man, this guy is traveling all over the country. 2 weeks ago, he's down south. He lives out west, and now he's up on the he's up in New York City. So happy Friday to you. Looks like it's going to be a soggy weekend down here in South
Georgia.
Louisiana, and it does look like it is moving over to Augusta after day 1 of the Augusta National. You remember yesterday, Booger McFarland was talking about Patrick Reed. Reed had a nice day.
I just can't, I can't like him. And
Well, I mean, he is very hateable.
Yes.
Very hateable.
We do, even in our Masters Pool pick'em, everybody that I talk to is like, well, I know he's going to finish top 10, and nobody picks him just because he's hateable.
Just because you don't like him.
He's just the worst.
Justin Rose was the class of day 1 as he was, is it 7 under? For
7 under and absolutely caught fire on the back 9. What he did was absolutely in a historic round. Nobody goes that low and that few holes at Augusta National in round 1.
4-stroke lead on the field. Tiger Woods is the only past winner that has come outside of the top 10 after a round 1 to win the Masters. So
really,
you can look at the top 10 after day 1, and you can see your winner's probably going to come outside or come inside of that group, as Justin Rose, as Lloyd said, was really, I mean, he caught fire on the back 9. A beautiful opening day, but as you said, the weather might be a problem here.
Yeah, it always, Augusta's about one step away from just putting a bubble over that thing because they've got the money and they've got the resources. They just need the technology.
Yeah.
I'm sure IBM's all over that. They're just going to cover it, and then we'll never have to worry about it again. It'll probably move to its own planet at some point. But for now, their weather is still a factor.
Yes. Opening round was beautiful, though. Defending champ Dustin Johnson was 2 over yesterday. Bad days for Rory McIlroy, Brooks Koepka, Bryson DeChambeau, all turned in rounds of over par after day 1. But as we said, Justin Rose, the 40-year-old, as a opening round 65 to enter Friday with a 4-stroke lead going into today.
Don't look for him to stick around. Man has a bad back. He withdrew from the last 2 tournaments he's played in. So this thing's gonna lock up on him at some point. Like you said, he's 40.
Wow.
So
you're already sending him out.
I'm reading the tea leaves.
Very much on the.
All right.
There's a lot of undulation on that course, a lot of hills you got to navigate. And like I said, he's 40, bad back. And the reason he went out and shot low is anybody that's ever played golf, if you don't play it for a while and go out and you just forget everything you do wrong and don't even think about it, go out and hit the ball, that's what he did. He came out fresh, didn't think about it, played great. Now it's on his mind a little bit.
Day 2, some of the things to watch. I thought Jordan Spieth yesterday really finished with some momentum. Spieth's riding the wave here, man. After the latest win, back in winner's circle, back at Augusta, a place where he has won before, and now after a day one under. Seems like he's a contender. I mean, he had a beautiful. Was that on 15? The Eagle? I mean, if he doesn't drop it, it probably goes into the water, right?
He's looking at about a 7-shot swing there if that doesn't go in. But yeah, like you said, he likes Augusta National. As fidgety as he seems out there, he is very. I don't know if it's ADD, if he's on medication because he's looking around. He's not. He doesn't seem comfortable, but he knows that place well and he plays well there. It's just a matter if he can hone it in. And like you said, he caught a little break there from going from looking at double to an eagle.
Those are the breaks you got to catch.
Got to catch them. And he did. And like I said, if he's in contention, he's going to like it out there.
Justin Thomas and nine others, as we said, are over par. Thomas is +1 after round one. So look out. Day two is underway. Justin Rose. Some of the tee times to watch and some of the pairings to pay attention to this morning. As we said, Patrick Reed, the local, he'll be the latest or on the latest tee time. He's teeing off at 2 o'clock this afternoon as he'll be the last one to go off. Phil Mickelson will be in a group that goes off at 10 a.m. Fred Couples will tee off at 9 o'clock this morning. Vijay Singh will lead them off with an 8 a.m. Tee time from Augusta. I'm trying to find Rose and find out where he goes. As soon as I find it, I'll let you know. But remember, our coffee is daily brought to you by Majestic. Majestic Coffee is locally brewed down here in South Louisiana, and everybody that we talked to on the phone lines this morning will be brought to you by Metropolitan Health Group. Metropolitan Health Group, real doctors, real solutions. Get in touch with Charlie Harvey and Jason Ramazan as they can help you out today. All right, so LSU was up at the Capitol yesterday. They had one representative up there, which we talked a little bit about this going into it. This was going to be an overall going to be a bad day for LSU, just with the Senate Select Committee on Women and Children asking questions. They called for the testimony of 9 LSU employees and 1 attorney at Taylor Porter, a Baton Rouge law firm that represents LSU. They wanted to hear testimony from Ed Ogeron. They wanted to hear testimony from Scott Woodward. Those guys, along with the 9 others that were asked to come before the committee, sent written testimony in instead. And Winston DeQueer was the representative, who is LSU's vice president for legal affairs. So he's pretty much their lobbyist, and he showed up to testify in person. Talk about the lamb here, buddy. We're sacrificing you, Winston. We pay you to be our lobbyist. You go take these bullets for us. But as far as the overall day what was concerned, Karen Carter Peterson, the senator out of New Orleans, was really the one that was the most intense with her question asking and wanted to know answers.
Well, that name sounds intense.
Yes.
Dude, if you're getting called by Karen Carter Peterson.
And she's going into a huge political campaign season. I believe she's running for Congress. Yes, this is a moment that she wants to take advantage of. And we were talking about the LSU from the LSU side on this. There was no advantage.
A censored old Mickey over there.
Yeah. There was no.
I am wearing pants. I can guarantee you. There
was no advantage for LSU sending up the high-ranking officials and the 9 that were asked to come up to the state capitol on Thursday, right? I mean, you take the week and a half or the weekend of bad press, and you let everybody else talk about it. But when you give an opportunity to somebody like Peterson to ask questions to Scott Woodward and or Ed Ogeron, it's just nothing good.
I mean, that's like a buffet for her. Just what do I want to ask? What do I want to eat?
Nothing good is going to come from that. But I think that, I mean, as the world turns with LSU, right? I mean, another day, another story, and I think that now you need to see some of the public relations start to take place, right? And all of the story and all of the write-ups with USA Today and all of the debates on Capitol Hill are, they're still happening and they're still going on. And I think everybody is kind of waiting to see what is going to be the shakeup, what's going to be the fallout, what's going to be the consequence of the last couple of months of investigation dealing with the last decade of LSU. From my point of view, I believe that it is the task of Scott Woodward to begin to turn the ship, right? I mean, I think that this is, when you're talking about LSU, the overall brand, I mean, you're talking about a huge commodity. I mean, something that stretches far and wide, much wider than a football field and much wider than a football program. So it goes way deeper than just athletics. But as far as the athletic piece of this is concerned, Scott Woodward, it's his responsibility to begin to change the image, the protocols, the rules in which the athletic department operates. And right now, I believe that LSU is a case study of bad PR dating back to, as far as I've been covering the program, I've been covering them now for a decade, but there are blunders and roadmaps and map points along the way, mile markers along the way that you can point back to and make so much sense. The Jimbo Fisher, Les Miles debacle coaching change, the coaching search after Miles was eventually fired. Looking back on all of the stuff that is coming out from the athletic department during that time, all the way up to the way that this is being handled presently from the public relations standpoint. I'm not getting into the stories and what's going on. It looks like Darius Geis is a bad person, at the bottom line. Just looks like LSU went to significant lengths to protect a bad person.
And now the NFL draft stuff starts to make a lot more sense from when he started to slide. And it goes to show the power of the NFL and how much they can find out.
It absolutely does.
When everybody here had no clue. We were sitting here scratching our heads wondering, like, why is he dropping so far? And the NFL did their due diligence. Felt like, whoa.
Yeah.
He's got some skeletons in the closet.
And that they're going to come out.
Yeah, and he's going,
at some point, at some point, it's going to surface. So, look, I think that, this story is going to continue to bubble, and it's going to continue to mushroom as long as LSU does not meet the story head on. This has always, in my opinion, been LSU's big problem with public relations, is that they've kind of pointed over here when really the issue is right here and handling it. And I think that the fan base and that the customers at this point want to see some action. They want to see what the plan is. What's the repercussions? If it was me, if I was running a public relations company within the state of Louisiana, I would be knocking down the door
Name
at LSU.
Price, dude.
Or just bring me in pro bono, allow me the promotion, give me this platform, and let my work speak for itself. And then I can just sell, look, I took this disaster and turned it into a brand and an image that was at least respectable again. That's where they need to be. They need to come out and totally
redeem yourself.
I would totally diss the Reggie Bush USC relationship, how they had to disassociate with Reggie Bush, anything that was involved during that time period with Reggie Bush and USC, which was so unfair to Bush at the time. I would do that with Les Miles and LSU if I was LSU. I would come out and just make that move just to show that you're taking some type of action, whatever it may be. It's easy for me to say because I would discount Miles' years off the top.
You already do.
Right. But, there has to be some type of action and some type of message to your fan base, to your customers that, hey, we recognize that this is a huge issue and that the last decade of leadership and direction has been the opposite of where we want to be and where we want to go. Right now, presently, we are working in-house to fix that. These are the steps that we can talk about, and these are the steps that we are taking. We'll answer any questions that you may have on that matter, but these are the things that we can't talk about, X, Y, and Z. Step out and say, and give the customers, the fans, at least the peace of mind that there is some type of direction being built and being spoken about in-house. I'm not naive enough to think that that's not happening. But I think at this point, there has to be some type of message to your fans saying that we recognize, we understand, and this is what's happening. Because just being around town, I'm in sales by nature. So my day-to-day operation is that I'm moving around. I'm speaking to people. I'm in rooms that are filled with people that are having conversations, right? I mean, a lot like a lot of you out there, networking. And you hear the turnoff that LSU is creating amongst some of even most the loyal of fans throughout the local area. And I think that is a great example and representation of people have options, and people after the last year have gained great perspective of really the pecking order and the priorities of those options. And as much as LSU football brings people together, and as much as it does for our community and for our state, some of the most loyal and steadfast fans are being turned off to a point where if you start to lose them, you know, the 2% crowd that's not going anywhere. It doesn't matter who's the coach, what's the record, what uniforms you wear, who you play, when you play, they're going to be there. When you start turning those people off, I mean, you have a real sincere problem from being able to reach your customer. I mean, just being able to run your company, to run your business. And I think that's what LSU is. They're flirting with that right now. They're in a state where it still looks like, I mean, we're talking about a decade worth of confusion and cover up and all these allegations and all these stories and all of these names that are starting to come out. We're talking about the decade of confusion and stories that we're continuously discussing. But there's nothing that's happening from that. There's no sign of recourse. That's why I believe that the Department of Education has relaunched their investigation into the school, is because they've looked and seen what's happened since the first time they left. And it's nothing happened. And I'm not just talking about the personnel that's still in place there. I'm just saying that there's no protocol. There's no rules or regulations. There's nothing from a messaging standpoint that's coming out and says, hey, we recognize that it's been a disaster. And we are fixing that every single day. That is our main objective. And I imagine that there are people that are doing that. I mean, I have met Stephanie Rimpf. I have met Cody Worsham. I mean, I know these people that are at the top of the athletic committee, athletic office right now, and what it means to not only protect LSU's brand, but to make sure that LSU's brand is nurtured and flourishing. And they understand that they have issues, and I know that they're working around the clock to try to fix that, but I think that the fan base deserves to hear about it at some point. What's going on? I mean, what I would want to know, is Sharon Lewis still at work? If so, what's that dynamic like? I mean, what's those walks in the halls like? What's those Zoom meetings like? How's that business being handled? I'm just curious. And I think there's a lot of curiosity within the fan base to what's the direction. Everybody understands that it's been a cluster and that there's been things that have been dropped and there's things that don't make sense. And there's been head-scratching decisions made. And there's been people allowed to keep their jobs after abuse of power that people ask, what the hell was going on? I think that the customer, the fan base, deserves an explanation and just a vision of where the department, the school is headed. And I don't think that Ed Orgeron, Scott Woodward had anything to do with the dysfunction that exists, that was talked about, that's being played out in public now. And like Booger said yesterday, his main concern is that the current regime is doing things the right way now because of everything and everything that we've learned that was happening and where they've come from. But the more that this stuff exists, and the more you give opportunities to people like Peterson, the senator out of New Orleans, who's got a big political campaign on the horizon, and she wants nothing more than to get Ed Orgeron and or Scott Woodward in a box to try to make a moment. And I think that from a public relations standpoint, if Woodward and Orgeron's company, institution, came out and gave a clear public message to the fan base, to the community, to the media, to the country about recognizing the missteps that have gone on and give a clear, concise plan to where LSU wants to be and how they're going to get there, that would close up a lot of the problems that they have, I think. I mean, I think that you can look really back on the last decade of LSU, and I hope that this is happening. And, you know, it being on a university campus, I would think that you know, you're right there at a place that this is what they do. A public relations case study at LSU over the last decade would be fascinating to me.
Probably very disappointing.
Disappointing, but fascinating in what you can learn in simple missteps. I think about the way that like Tom Brady and Drew Brees navigate a quarterback pocket in the NFL. The chaos that is happening around them. The sounds, the violence that is happening within an arm's reach of Brady, Brees, Rodgers, all these guys, man, that play the quarterback position at a high level. Lamar Jackson, any of them. A simple slide step, a one little movement of stepping up, sliding back, taking another step back, moving to the right. Simple, one step opens up a whole new vision of a passing lane for these guys. It opens up the field, wide open to them. Just by simply making one little movement. To me, that's where LSU is. Just one little simple move of a public relations statement about where you are, where you've been, and where you're going would soothe a lot of people. Because I think a lot of the issues that LSU is feeling is the chaos around them. I mean, people are asking questions. People are writing stories. You've got people suing in-house. You've got things going, and people are like, what is going on? People are, I mean, your most loyal of the fans and this is not speculative. This is not speculating. Walk into Phil's Oyster Bar any day, anytime, and you've got some of the most loyal LSU fans that you'll find.
And not to make light of it, but it's a lot like if you've ever seen The Office, when Michael Scott has to go with Dunder Mifflin to go answer the shareholders, and they put Michael Scott for him to answer all the questions. And what does he do? He comes up with a 21-day plan, 21 points, and comes up and it makes everybody cheer because you have a plan of action. You make a decisive first step. And you have to look at LSU fans almost as shareholders in this position. Like, these are the people you're trying to appease that are looking for answers. Go up there and you have to give them something.
Got to give them something, man. And you got to give the people that you're always going to and asking for fees, money, support, when they deserve some answers. You know what I mean? LSU is such a protected and private institution in the sense of they want to protect a lot of the information that's in there. At some point when things become so dysfunctional, you got to allow people just to peek in and give them an idea of what is going on and where things are going. If you're going to continue to ask for my money, if you're going to continue to ask for my support, you've got to give me some sense of an idea of what's happening when things don't look like they make a lot of sense. Especially after a year in which I realize now, as a customer and as a fan and as a person with options, that I'm okay watching the game at home. You know, I mean, I think a lot of people came to that realization that were ticket holders, and there's some people that thought to themselves, I can't live without the in-game experience. But when you give people an option to decide whether or not I want to go back.
Jordan Joseph Culotta FaceTime video.
Okay.
Oh, that is now muted. Who's somebody special?
That's Lil J.
Oh, take it.
So, you know, we'll talk to Jim Nickel about it. That's Jim Nickel's specialty. I mean, that's what he does. And obviously he's one of the top lobbyists, one of the most well-respected lobbyists up at the Capitol. And he'll be obviously a huge part of the session that starts next week. So we'll ask him just his thoughts on what's going on with LSU. Maybe what's some of the pieces of advice that he would give. Maybe that's an uncomfortable position for him. We'll ask him before he gets here at 7:45. He'll be at the undisclosed location. Next, we go to Lexington and talk to Eddie Smith, LSU baseball hitting coach. We'll get set up for LSU Kentucky as they start game one of a 3-game set from Lexington this afternoon. Don't forget, we're brought to you by Falaya Real Estate. Remember, over at Falaya, Barrett Blondo can get you into a brand new home today, and he can do it if you're into selling your house by yourself, if you're into for sale by owner, if you're a do-it-yourselfer, you got to get in touch with Falaya. 939-6153, 225 area code, 939-6153, 939-6153, or visit Falaya.com. The app is easily accessible within your Apple or Google stores. If you like to do things yourself, if you want to save some cash, then you need to check out Falaya Real Estate. It's do-it-yourself, selling your house. For more information, Falaya.com, or download the app at the Google Play and Apple Store today. Remember, we will talk to Jim Nickel coming up here before we close out the hour. Ben Mintz will be here from Barstool Sports at straight up 8 a.m. at 8:15. At 8:30 this morning, Nathan Velasquez will be here from the 5-Minute Critic. Jordy Culotta Show rolling on here on this Friday, brought to you by Go Chevrolet. Are you self-employed? Then you need to learn about Angel Oak's Home Loans Bank Statement program that they're offering, which makes you eligible as a self-employed borrower to purchase or refinance a home without requiring a tax return. If you want to learn more, get in touch with me. Email me, Jordy at jordyculotta.show.com, to learn about the bank statement loan program offered by Angel Oak. Jordy at jordyculotta.show.com to learn more. Gearing up for spring and summer down here in South Louisiana, and you want to keep your lawn maintained during these sunny seasons, get in touch with our friend Blake Abear over at Abear's Lawn Maintenance, where he says, you grow it, I mow it. 225-485-8022, 225-485-8022 is where you can find Abear's Lawn and Maintenance, the official lawn and maintenance company of the undisclosed location. Relief Health, the only way to get your health care in 2021. In your home or on site, Relief is changing how health care is delivered to you. No more doctor's offices, no more waiting rooms. Download the app today, Relief Health, from the Apple or Google app stores. You can get connected to a local doctor in your community or just order a test directly without talking to a doctor. Their COVID tests are live, and right now they have the Moderna vaccine. Online at reliefhealth.com or download the app from your Apple or Google app stores now. Relief Health, changing the way that healthcare is brought to you in 2021. All right, stick around in hour two. We will talk to Nathan Velasquez of the 5 Minute Critic. We'll also talk to Ben Mintz of Barstool Sports, as Mintzy will be by talking some of the rage for college baseball up in that part of the country. As a lot of people paying attention to the Southeastern Conference right now, as a lot of the heavy hitters within the sport are coming out of the SEC. LSU has seen a lot of those heavy hitters up close here through the first month of SEC play there in Lexington this morning, as they'll start game one of a 3-game set coming up this afternoon. It'll be a 5:30 first pitch for you here in Central Time, in the Central Time Zone, as LSU and Kentucky will battle it out. Coach Eddie Smith is a great friend of our show, has been so kind with his time throughout the season, and checks in with us here this morning from Lexington. Good morning, Coach. How are you?
Good morning, Jordy. Great to hear from you. Doing great.
Absolutely. Yes, sir. I got to imagine that Tuesday night was a much-needed game for the Tigers as they get back on track versus McNeese. 12 hits for the offense, which what was your takeaway from the midweek win?
You know, it was great to get right back on track. Some guys did some really good things out there, offensively and on the mound. All the way around, it was just a well-played game by the Tigers. And this game will do some crazy things to your mind, and a game like that right there, it's refreshing, and it's a great reminder of how good we can be.
I know all your attention is on the Wildcats, and it should be, because you guys have your hands full in Lexington this weekend. But, Coach, real quick, take me back to last weekend, facing maybe the number 1 and number 2 potential picks in the Major League Baseball draft, and your offense and the challenge that they faced against Vanderbilt last weekend, and maybe some of the takeaways that you have after a 3-game set versus the nation's best.
Well, there's no question you got to tip your hat to that pitching staff. They did a fantastic job. In 2009, we had the opportunity to face Steven Strasburg, and I think that, Vanderbilt ran some arms out there that it's the first time I could say in my coaching career they're in the same hemisphere as Steven Strasburg was in 2009. And, there's obviously some good performances by them. We just got to be just a little bit better. We got to be just a little bit better. And, with this group, just trying to get a little bit better every day. Hopefully that's a learning experience that we could take along with us, and we can improve right now, this week, starting tonight, and use that as we go forward here throughout the rest of the season.
Wildcat pitchers are averaging just over 10 strikeouts per 9 innings. What's the challenges you guys face this weekend?
Well, they've got a lot of arms that throw a lot of strikes, and I think that, you mentioned the strikeout clip right there, that they're striking guys out at a high clip, and I think that all starts with guys who throw strike one, and that's something that this club does in Kentucky. So we're going to come out. We're going to come out and be aggressive and look to hit that first pitch and get after it from first pitch of the ball game.
Coach, Kentucky's got a new ballpark, and in that new ballpark, it's got a short porch, specifically in right. Do you mention that to your guys?
We don't bring that up. I think that when you walk into the ballpark and you see the 320 sign on the fence, it does make you look at it twice to make sure that you read it right. The reality is that this weekend, with the way the wind's blowing, I think that the wind is going to neutralize that short porch a little bit. And so, when we practiced last night, ball was flying pretty good out of the ballpark. think every day during DP, it'll be a little bit more of a telltale sign of how it's going to fly on that day. And certainly, I think the players, they're the first ones, hitters, they're the first ones to look up and see those signs and see how far it is and how the ball is flying on a given day. So I don't know that it really needs to be addressed that much to the guys.
One of the positives that we took away over the last couple of days was seeing Giovanni back in action. How have you handled him offensively while he's been down, and how much live pitching has he seen going into the weekend?
Well, I think that's one of the challenging things is that Giovanni has been battling injuries, for the greater part of the last year and a half, and that's really limited his time. Just even taking batting practice, let alone getting the live at bats that a typical player gets. And so, to see him go out there on Tuesday and have a couple of good at bats, that was really encouraging, and hoping we can, continue to see that out of him, because when he's at his best, it adds an element to this team that would be a great boost.
What has been your offensive takeaways, Coach? I mean, I'd imagine that it's been a bit of a roller coaster ride, or it seems like that from the fans' point of view, but from your point of view, the man who's tasked with the offensive production of the team, what's been your takeaway through the first month of SEC play?
Well, it's been an interesting month, Jordy. I think that one thing that is something that we are really trying to improve is, hey, how do we produce more in SEC play? When you take non-conference games only, we're the second leading scoring team in the entire conference in non-conference games. And everybody's going to have a decline in SEC play. It doesn't take a genius to figure that out. But I think the question is, hey, why is that decline so significant in our case? And, because we just aren't scoring the runs we need to score in SEC play in these 9 games so far. And, I think there's a lot of factors that go into that. We want to look at the controllable factors. And I think that, we're focusing a lot on this week on belief, on confidence, on, hey, and adversity. That's not the only thing that's going to be guaranteed in this game. And when it comes, is it going to break you, or is it going to make you stronger? And it's going to come tonight. And when it comes, hey, can we make that last 1 or 2 pitches instead of 1 or 2 innings? And so, I think it's been a learning experience. I think it's something where you look up and you see these young players, the 4 freshmen that are playing all the time for us, getting a little bit better. They're getting a little bit better. And we got 7 weeks left. They got to get better every single day. And, that's the only way we can go about it. And we're seeing some progress there. I think that, the veteran players, some guys are doing a good job, and some guys are ready to just burst out of their shell. And it's got to happen right now. There's no secret about that.
Coach, there's been some breakthrough in technology in terms of virtual reality, like stepping into the baseball realm. Is that anything y'all are invested in? And it's a way to kind of see pitchers through a virtual reality. Is that something that y'all might be y'all delving into the future a little bit?
Yeah, that is something that's really taken over the sport here in the last 2 years or so. And we have a program called Win Reality, which is it's pretty prevalent all over Major League Baseball now, and it's really gotten into the college game. You could put on some headsets. We actually remodeled an entire room for it, and you could put on some headsets and you stand in the box. It feels very, very realistic. Unfortunately, the whole system, it involves, a headset. It involves touching buttons, computers, a small confined space. And it's basically a COVID petri dish. So this year we've been really restricted with our use of that, but we have the system, and I think that it's certainly a technology piece that is out there.
Coach, you need somebody to run that thing. Let me know. I'm vaccinated. I'll go in there and click a couple buttons. That's what I do now.
Sounds like a plan.
There we go.
My man Eddie Smith checking in from Lexington this morning as LSU gets set for a 3-game set versus Kentucky that gets going this afternoon. Give me one on Cade Doty, Coach, because he was banged up a little bit in the early part of the year. He seems like he's now back in the lineup and feeling confident at third base. He's number 3 in the SEC right now with 9 home runs. What have you made from the sophomore's performance now as he seems like he's back to health?
Yeah, Cade's done a good job. He's done a really good job for us. And the 9 home runs, as you mentioned. I think he's hitting now north of 315, 320 right in there. It's really unique. It's really special, and he's a great kid. He goes about it pretty well every single day, and really knows how to get his barrel to the baseball. And I think the one thing that is still to come for Cade is that type of success in the SEC play. And hey, no better weekend than right now to start that for him. And I think it's going to come sooner than later. It's the law of averages. He's too good. He's now got a little bit of experience under his belt. A little bit that confidence comes with the 4-hit game on Tuesday. So I know he's ready to play this weekend.
It'll be Landon Marceau versus Cole Stoop tonight as the Aces go for an SEC Friday night matchup. Marceau for the Tigers, Stoop for Kentucky. 5:30 first pitch for the Central Time viewers here in Baton Rouge, Louisiana, as LSU will face up against Kentucky in Lexington. Game 1 this afternoon. Coach, thanks for the time on game day. Go get them. We'll talk to you next week.
Thanks, Jordy. You guys take care. Go Tigers.
Yes, sir. There he is, Eddie Smith, checking in this morning from Lexington. As some of the people that are watching inside of the bunker were quick to point out when we brought up Vanderbilt. Did you see what happened to Kumar Rocker and Vandy last night?
Got rocked.
I mean, bro,
Crazy.
The first time that's happened to Rocker since his freshman season. Dude gave up bombs last night. Georgia, I guess, is the story, really. I mean, with the way that they hit the ball against Rocker and that pitching staff from Vanderbilt last night, but a huge win for Georgia in game 1 of that series versus Vandy.
Like we were saying, you just got to run into a couple.
Yeah.
You can get one. You can get a couple games. Come on, boys. Just keep swinging that thing. Hack at it.
LSU, Kentucky this afternoon, as last night the run total on Rocker 6 runs, 3 home runs against Rocker last night for Georgia, as they got a 14-2 win last night versus Vanderbilt. Looking forward to our next conversation, as my man Jim Nickel has been a great friend, a mentor of mine. And if you were up and do any business up at the state capitol, you know the name Jim Nickel. My man has been up there and is so well respected, got great relationships. He's a part of Corson Nickel, the government relations shop over there at the state capitol. And he's got great insight. The legislative session begins next week. There has been a lot of controversy around LSU up at the state capitol. We will get his thoughts when we come back here to close out hour number 1 as daily here on the Jordy Culotta Show. We are brought to you by Relief Health. Remember, Relief Health is the best way and the only way to get your health care in 2021, in your home and on site. Doesn't matter if it's at the office. It doesn't matter if it's at your house. Remember, Relief will come on site for any employer and administer to their employees. In fact, they have the vaccine. They've got Moderna that they can come to your office, to your home and administer today. Relief Health, you download the the app at your Apple and Google app stores today. You get connected to a local doctor in your community, or you can just order a test directly without talking to a doctor. The COVID tests are live right now. Relief is changing the way that healthcare is delivered in 2021. No more doctor's offices, no more waiting rooms, healthcare at the comfort of your own home, and the process is simple. Download the app today at your Google app stores, your Apple app stores. Just download Relief Health. When we come back, we'll talk to Jim Nickel and close out hour number 1 right here on the Jordy Culotta Show, brought to you daily by Go Chevrolet.
Y'all are so quick on the headset.
Spring and summer down here in South Louisiana, and you want to keep your lawn maintained during these sunny seasons, get in touch with our friend Blake Abear over at Abear's Lawn Maintenance, where he says, you grow it, I mow it. 225-485-8022, 225-485-8022 is where you can find Abear's Lawn and Maintenance, the official lawn and maintenance company of the undisclosed location. Are you self-employed? Then you need to learn about Angel Oak's Home Loans Bank Statement program that they're offering, which makes you eligible as a self-employed borrower to purchase or refinance a home without requiring a tax return. If you want to learn more, get in touch with me. Email me, Jordy at jordyculotta.show.com to learn about the bank statement loan program offered by Angel Oak. Jordy at jordyculotta.show.com to learn more. Relief Health, the only way to get your health care in 2021. In your home or on site, Relief is changing how health care is delivered to you. No more doctor's offices, no more waiting rooms. Download the app today, Relief Health, from the Apple or Google app stores. You can get connected to a local doctor in your community or just order a test directly without talking to a doctor. Their COVID tests are live, and right now they have the Moderna vaccine. Online at reliefhealth.com or download the app from your Apple or Google app stores now. Relief Health, changing the way that healthcare is brought to you in 2021.
Check the mic and make sure it sound right, boys. It sound right, boys.
Welcome back here to the Jordy Culotta Show, live from the UDL. One of my favorites, man, Jim Nickel, who has been
becoming my favorite.
Yes, you see the life that my man leads.
Woo.
He is he's the best from Corson Nickel, and you may know him as the spotter on the LSU Sports Radio Network. Yep. We tricked him this morning. We told him to come in and talk Masters. In fact, he's going to tell us everything that's going on between the LSU and the Senate hearing. But you didn't like that. That laugh was
No, we can hit it all.
No, I'm just kidding.
It's all fair game.
Tell me about the Masters. You've been to the Masters, and you've done a lot of cool things in your life, and the Masters is right up there at the top, huh?
I'd say it's top 2 or 3. I guess I'm supposed to say my marriage and the birth of my children, so I'll go ahead and get that out of the way. But no, we were talking about it during the break. It's just so well run and so subtle in its approach to having a very, very amazing golf tournament. Of course, the grounds are pristine and the place is beautiful, but they just think of everything there, and it's just a special experience. And I've only gone twice on Thursday, Friday. They tell you the weekend is pretty crowded, and for a guy of my lack of stature, I probably wouldn't see much. So I went on Thursday, Friday. But yeah, very special. Highly recommend, even if you're not a golfer. Highly recommend you do it once in your life. It's a special place. We're
definitely gonna do it. I saw Dwayne Wade was out at the at Augusta National. Yeah. Yesterday. It attracts the A-listers, not only from the sporting arena, but from all over.
Well, and COVID has done so much for golf. I mean, the game was really slowly dying, and COVID forced a lot of people outside, a lot of free time, and I think golf has seen a resurgence because of that. And so it's become more popular, and the Masters is a benefit of that. And it's a different course this weekend than it was in November. It's a lot faster, a lot hotter. Those greens are blazing, and they may get some rain this weekend. It'll soften it up, but it's going to be a must-watch thing this weekend.
That sub-air system is going to be humming if it starts raining.
Yes. You have a reputation up at the state capitol for getting just about any answer that you're looking for. Very proud of our boy, Representative John Stefanski, for keeping a secret, as he has really been the only one up at the Capitol. Maybe Jesse McCormick, who knew the whereabouts of the undisclosed location. I know that you've been searching for this outside. I'm trying to get it from the top source, but he's kept quiet.
He has. And that's a fellow Crowley boy. I mean, he and I grew up in Crowley. We're part of the Crowley Mafia. You would think he would tell me. No way. Lips were sealed. Asked him 3 times. He would not tell me where this was, and I'm going to keep a secret too.
I love that. Tell me from your point of view, somebody that understands so much about the Capitol, the position that Stefanski holds in the committee chair for
the committee that he sits on. I know that the respect and reputation that holds within the state capitol.
Well, John's relatively new to the legislature, but his talent, like you would see in sports, I never forget, Chief came to my house, John Chavis came to my house the freshman year at Turan Matthew that August. We were barbecuing after practice one day with Dr. Bankston, and I said, Chief, who is 14? He's the smallest guy out there. He goes, he's our best player. I said, what? He goes, he's our best player. I said, that little number
Patrick
14?
Peterson was on that team.
Yeah. He goes, he's the best player we have. And he was.
Yeah.
And John got to the legislature, and immediately his talent, by working together with people in both parties, his intelligence rose to the top. I think he's a trusted member of the speaker's inner circle. And so, yeah, he'll be very, very important to getting the sports gaming bill passed and making sure we can have people be able to bet on sports, mobile and otherwise. And I'm sure you want to talk about that. But John's a superstar on the rise.
He is. And let's start with LSU. As I mentioned, you are the spotter for the LSU Sports Radio Network. Mm-hmm. You have a great relationship with the university. And right now, there's obviously legislators that are asking for some answers up there. From your point of view, what is going on with the state university?
This is probably one of the most critical times in LSU's history. LSU is a public institution. If you were a private company, if you were Microsoft and you were going through this, you would have a PR situation. You would ride it out and hope your stock bounces back in 8 months. LSU doesn't have that luxury. They are funded by the state. They need the state's support to be a flagship, and the state and the legislature is expecting things to be resolved. And so I think they have an excellent plan moving forward with Title IX. They have, I think, Scott Woodward and the team that's in place has done a good job of, I think, convincing the state leadership that they have a plan. But there's still some people at the Capitol that want to know more about the past. They suspect things are not completely being revealed. And so I think LSU has a little bit more to go to get over this political hump. And we're all trying to help them. I mean, I don't think there's anything more important in this state other than your family and your church. LSU's right up there. It's a very, very, to me personally and professionally, an important thing. And we got to get this right. And I think if they don't, it's not going to be good.
I saw Regina Barrow, Senator Barrow.
Senator Barrow.
Who is the head of the Women and Children's Committee,
Correct.
that was requesting the presence of the employees from LSU to give their testimony. And then once they sent in written testimony, she replied with possibly seeking a subpoena from the legislator's standpoint to a university that is funded by the state. What is the relationship, and what is the expectation, I guess?
Well, first of all, it's extremely extreme. I've been doing this. Well, I've been in politics for a long time, but I've been lobbying for 22 years. I've never seen a legislative committee have to subpoena someone. People usually come. I think that's part of the frustration of the legislature, that they think they may have to get to that point. Now, this lawsuit by Miss Lewis, Sharon Lewis, complicates things, because if you've ever been sued, your lawyer tells you to shut up. So everybody's got to be quiet for a little while. But I don't think we'll get to the point of the subpoenas being issued. I think the legislature and the leadership there is ready to sit down with LSU and get more answers, whether that's in a public forum or private forum, and I'm hoping we can get past that. But that is a very, very serious matter. Senator Barrow is very serious about getting answers. The women in the legislature, along with a lot of men, want more answers.
Jim Nickel, from Corson Nickel, one of the great representation and government lobby firms that you will find here in our state, joining us here at the undisclosed location with legislative session set to begin next week. What's at the top of the agenda when you talk about next week's session? I know Stefanski, when he was here, when the representative was here, we talked a lot about gambling and gaming and where it fit into the sports conversation. But from your standpoint, what are some of the headline issues?
Yeah, normally it's a budget thing. We fight about money, but there's so much federal money flowing in here, it becomes a fight about how to spend it. So I don't think the budget's going to be a huge issue. I think there's a single tax collection issue that I'm sure your listeners will fall asleep if I describe it, so I'll just pass over that. But it's an important issue to business. I think gaming. I think the sports gaming bill is going to be a dominant issue because it was overwhelmingly supported by the people of Louisiana. They want to do it legally. Some of us are doing it illegally.
Hand up.
Yeah, so let's make it legal, let's make it safe, let's make it reliable for people. And so I think the battle will be, how much is it taxed? Is it mobile? Is it not mobile? Are people going to be able to have kiosks? Are people going to have to go somewhere to do it? I think the president of the Senate and Representative Stefanski are very committed to a mobile solution. New York just passed full mobile. And so I think it's a generational thing, Jordy. I think you probably see it in your business. What you're doing with this show is cutting edge. It's the latest thing, and it's what's going to be in the future, I think. I think we have legislators who don't quite comprehend that it is safe to do it on your phone. We can verify your age. We can verify your identity. I mean, we bank on our phones. We do everything else on our phones. So we have to do a good job of educating legislators. Kids aren't going to be able to do it. People aren't going to be able to steal your identity. It's a safe way to do it. And the reality is if we don't do mobile, people like me are just going to keep doing what I'm doing, and that is doing it illegally mobile. Right? I'm not going to get up and drive somewhere, and then the in-game betting is the fastest, right? I mean, you want to bet, is Phil Mickelson going to birdie this hole? You want to bet if Drew Brees is retired. You want to bet if Tom Brady's going to throw a touchdown on this drive. And the only way you can have that in-game action, I think, is to have a mobile device. You're not going to get up every time you're at walk-ons and go to the kiosk and say, let me bet whether or not the Saints are going to kick a field goal. So, but it's up to us to educate people that it can be done well.
From the standpoint of the games and the discussions of what's happening at the legislative sector, at that section of the discussion, what is the outlook of sports? What is the outlook of what sports will look like next year in our community? Do you anticipate a full Tiger Stadium? Do you anticipate things back to I guess normal is the term that everybody goes to, but some sense of normalcy?
I do. I think if we can keep up our vaccine rate, I think we'll be back in Tiger Stadium and back in the PMAC and doing that. Yes, I do. I think the governor's very committed to doing that. I mean, I don't have to tell you how important tourism is to our economy. It's probably the fourth largest part of our economy. We got to get people back here. We got to have a jazz fest. We got to have the French Quarter rolling. We got to have the Final Four in New Orleans. Yeah. We got to have the Crawfish Festival. Those things are important.
Can you give me an idea of the effect of missing that one year and what it truly does and did to our state? I know that it was all because in keeping the safety and health concerns up to alert, but missing those opportunities for our state, what was the ramification?
Well, they were significant financially. We were just lucky that the federal government sent us a bunch of money because, if you think of the pillars of our economy, oil and gas was down a lot. People just weren't going anywhere, so the price of gas, price of oil was down. Gaming is the second largest contributor to our state budget. Casinos were closed or at 25% capacity. And then tourism was shut down, hotel, motel taxes. It was Louisiana is very dependent on visitors. We need people to come here and party, and people like to come here and party. So we got to be open.
I was in New Orleans last weekend, and there was a buzz about the city. I mean, the weather was great; it was phenomenal. But there was, the French Quarter looked as if it was a spring of years past.
Oh, dude, I was there 2 weeks ago. My daughter's getting married. I had a bachelor weekend there. Thank you. And had 25-year-olds in the French Quarter. I was freaking out. But the bars were closing at 11, so that was one good thing about COVID.
Wow, that sounds like a party.
Yeah, it was. But I agree with you. The French Quarter,
it was back. Yeah.
Wow.
It felt back. The buzz was there.
Now, I don't know how much of that stimulus check money just flowing, but it may not last. That's why, and I think those were a lot of locals that you and I saw.
Just people getting out the house.
Correct. And I think we got to open up. Frenchman Street's open now, so you go listen to some music. So we're getting there.
Tell me the task of redistricting. Well, just when you say that out loud, that seems like just a hell of a responsibility, but then you only do it once a decade. Mm-hmm. What's the purpose and what is the task? What is that responsibility?
So you got to figure out how many representatives you have based on population. So if Baton Rouge gets bigger, which it did a little bit, it'll have more members of the legislature than, let's say, Shreveport, which has lost population, or Monroe, which has lost population. I don't want to know the number, but it's a significant number. It's over 55% of the people in Louisiana live south of I-10 or I-12. Mm-hmm. So when that happens, you have more representatives from those areas. So John's job is to figure out, from a population standpoint, Stefanski, how do we draw these districts so that people like us who live in Baton Rouge get the representation we deserve because we have more people here. And you have to do it at every level. You have to redistrict the Baton Rouge Council, the New Orleans Council. You have to redistrict the Calcasieu Police Jury. You got to redistrict the legislature. You got to redistrict the Supreme Court. You got to redistrict the Congress. I mean, it's a big deal, and it's important. And that's why the census is so important, because all your federal dollars are based on population. So the amount of highway money we get, the amount of health care money we get, the amount of money we get for anything from the federal government is based on how many people live here. And so when you don't participate in the census, you're kind of screwing yourself.
How much is marijuana taking up time this legislative session?
I think it'll take up a significant amount, because I think there's going to be a big push to just go ahead and decriminalize. And I think that's going to be a fight. I think the polling numbers are significant that people support it. Law enforcement's going to come down there, I think, and try to scare people. I'm not sure it's going to work anymore. It's worked in the past. Another generational thing, Sure. 10 years ago, older legislators just couldn't put their head around it. The younger ones are there now, and thankfully, that's what we need, young guys and gals in there. I think it's got a chance.
What's the process of regulating the medicinal supply?
Well, there's a lot of complaints. There's not enough. They're not producing enough. People aren't able to get it. I think last year they legalized inhalers for people, and people aren't able to get it. And so I think that's part of the reason why you're going to see a push for decriminalization, is people aren't getting it as they need it when they're sick. Now, I don't know the long-term prospects of the marijuana industry. I think it'll be solid, but a friend of mine gave me a good quote. He said, they call it weed for a reason. You can grow that You can grow that stuff
on YouTube. You know what I mean? Yeah, go ahead.
You can grow that shit anyway. So, I mean, I've been told. I wouldn't know. But
welcome to the UDL, Jimmy.
So I think
reach behind you.
I think there'll always be a good business for it. Obviously, we see it in Colorado for growing certain buds and having different strengths and things of that nature. But there'll come a time when people just grow it at home. I think.
Yeah, absolutely. LSU football seems like they're going to be pretty good. I mean,
I'm a little nervous about the running back situation. We don't have a real healthy running back right now. I'd like to see what happens in spring. I know we've got a good one coming in, a real good one, a couple of good ones coming in.
Yeah, two good ones.
So we'll see. But, I like the defense being all back and being, seasoned. I think that's good. I think Coach O is smart not to say things like the defense is going to be better than ever and that kind of thing. It's a learning process for him as well. But, I feel real good about it. I really do. And I'm excited about the UCLA game. I think hopefully California's open and we're all out there. We'll be doing this show from an undisclosed location, maybe at the Playboy Mansion or something.
Well, you would be the one that could make that happen.
I'm going to go hook you up. As long as I get a segment.
Well, you can be a co-host if you make that happen. Give me a winner for the Masters before you get out of here. Who you like?
Wow,
I
think this
7. You got a 4-strike
man.
lead.
I like that guy. I like that guy a lot, but I just don't know how you hold on to it. I like Colin Morikawa. He's kind of tucked back there, but he's real consistent and really good. And I think he could sneak up and win it. But I think it's anybody's turn. I think Patrick Reed.
Yeah,
I mean,
Booger
love him or don't love him.
Yeah,
he's really good. He played right there at Augusta College, and he knows that course, and he's steady. So I would give him a chance as well. But just the first day, so we got a long way to go.
Thank you for everything, man.
Thank y'all.
Great to see you.
Congratulations on the show.
Yes,
I love it. Watch it, and all the best to you guys, and have a great weekend.
Thank you. Jim Nickel. Corson Nickel is the representation firm that you can find up there, one of the great government relations firms in our state. He's also the spotter for LSU football and the LSU Sports Radio Network. So very well connected within the state of Louisiana and always looking out for the best in our state, giving us a little tidbits of what to watch out for with next week's legislative session on the horizon. Ben Mintz stopping by next from Barstool Sports here on the Jordy Culotta Show, which is brought to you daily by RMB Builders. Remember, Rhett Bourgeois and RMB Builders. Custom make you a home. They can help you with commercial. They got their commercial license, 921-7062, or online at rmb-builders.com. More from the Jordy Culotta Show when we come back here on YouTube, Facebook, and jordyculotta.show.com.
Gearing up for spring and summer down here in South Louisiana, and you want to keep your lawn maintained during these sunny seasons, get in touch with our friend Blake Abear over at Abear's Lawn Maintenance, where he says, you grow it, I mow it. 225-485-8022. 225-485-8022 is where you can find Abear's Lawn and Maintenance, the official lawn and maintenance company of the undisclosed location. Are you self-employed? Then you need to learn about Angel Oak's Home Loans Bank Statement program that they're offering, which makes you eligible as a self-employed borrower to purchase or refinance a home without requiring a tax return. If you want to learn more, get in touch with me. Email me, Jordy at jordyculotta.show.com, to learn about the bank statement loan program offered by Angel Oak. Jordy at jordyculotta.show.com to learn more. Go Chevrolet is proud to announce Go Express Auto Sales, the new used car lot located in the capital city of Baton Rouge, Louisiana, at 11522 Florida Boulevard. Go Express Auto Sales is online at goexpressautosales.com, or you can search them on Facebook and social media at Go Express Auto Sales, the newest addition to the family of Go Chevrolet. Remember, Go Chevrolet is located down in Laplace, Louisiana, but now welcoming aboard Go Express, the new used car lot located in Baton Rouge, Louisiana at 11522 Florida Boulevard. Are you self-employed? Then you need to learn about Angel Oak's Home Loans Bank Statement program that they're offering, which makes you eligible as a self-employed borrower to purchase or refinance a home without requiring a tax return. If you want to learn more, get in touch with me. Email me, Jordy at jordyculotta.show.com, to learn about the bank statement loan program offered by Angel Oak. Jordy at jordyculotta.show.com to learn more. Gearing up for spring and summer down here in South Louisiana, and you want to keep your lawn maintained during these sunny seasons, get in touch with our friend Blake Abear over at Abear's Lawn Maintenance, where he says, you grow it, I mow it. 225-485-8022. 225-485-8022 is where you can find Abear's Lawn and Maintenance, the official lawn and maintenance company of the undisclosed location. Welcome back to a Friday edition of the Jordy Culotta Show, presented by Go Chevrolet. Remember, appreciate Jim Nickel. R&B Builders, missed any of it? Huh?
I mean,
He's
I'm
fantastic.
smitten over here. Never met the guy, had no idea, walks in, I'm automatically drawn in, says two words.
Just
I'm
such
just
a
like,
magnetic
man,
personality.
he's got a personality and just an aura about himself to where you know he's just done cool shit.
He has done the coolest of all the shit. But you also has that switch up there at the Capitol where when he needs something done,
I don't want to see the mother
he
effer
gets it
side.
done,
Yeah,
bro.
there- you
He
can
gets it
tell.
done.
You
He's
don't
an
get
ass
that-
kicker at the Capitol
Yeah.
because he's got all the relationships. It's a relationship game at the end of the day, boys and girls.
I want to be in a relationship.
Not just at the Capitol, it's all over the world. Who's got the best relationships? Who do you know to get you in? Ben Mintz knows everybody around the world as his following list is growing by the day. My man is exploding. He was recognized in the airport by a Buffalo Bill fan a couple of weeks ago. He's running around Manhattan. He runs into a Monroe native that they post selfies on. I mean, life is good for Mincy as we head into springtime in the city. Mincy, is it start to dry up there? Is sun starting to come up in New York? Yeah.
Man, it is. The vibe, you can look. I can't say that I can judge a ton about New York because I got here Halloween weekend during the middle of COVID, but you can feel the energy coming back. People are out and about. The weather's beautiful. I think things are I feel like Cuomo, the governor, gets in a different scandal every week. So it's every week that he gets in trouble, he throws a new bone to all the people. So it's like, oh, you're 25% open. Well, now you're 35%. Or here's gambling. Or okay,
right.
This week we'll give you marijuana. So it's just every week it's something different. But it feels like things are slowly starting to come back, and a lot of people they've got the vaccine out here. Everybody's trying to get their appointments, and yeah, man, feels good. And I'm starting to, I had one of my first big New York experiences. I was actually in a suite at Barclays for that Pelicans Nets beat down the other night, but it was still pretty dang fun, even though the Pelicans got killed. And I'm looking forward. I'm actually going to go see them in Madison Square Garden next Sunday, too.
KD looked pretty good on his first game back for sure.
But it felt like I was watching an all-star game with the Nets offense against the Pelicans defense. I mean, they could have scored 160 if they wanted to.
How good are they going to be with all those guys? I mean,
they didn't even have Harden out there. I mean, they had Blake Griffin and Aldridge at the, when people are getting rid of, at the ending when people always sell off those contracts. I mean, they're ridiculous, man. I mean, it was, and then Steve Nash, head coach, Dan Toney, the assistant. They share the ball. It's like kind of poetry. And, yeah, man, Pelicans got a long way to go, but I'm still excited about this year.
Mintzy, was that your first suite experience?
No, I've done a few, but it was my first one in New York.
Yeah.
Welcome
to the suite life, bro. When, the method down here in the Jordy Culotta Show is once you go suite, you never go back in. If you don't
I'm kind of more of a man of the team.
Yeah, Mintzy feels that way. Yeah. He feels that way.
You go catch him in the stadium at Ole Miss. He ain't going to the suites. That man wants to be in there.
That makes a lot of sense. Mintzy, we were just talking to Jim Nickel, and some of the events that South Louisiana has missed over the last year has been, absolutely just from a social and mental health standpoint has been crushing. But he was talking about some of the financial impacts of the state. It feels like things are coming back. Final Four will be in New Orleans next year. Tiger football, LSU football feels like it'll be at full capacity once fall comes around. And it looks like Hogs for the Cause is going to go down as well, which is going to bring you back down south. Is that right? Can we go public with that?
Yeah, we can talk a little about it. There's no public announcement on that yet, but I will be there. And I'm super excited, man. It's June 4th and 5th. And I just have been a fan of Hogs for a Cause in New Orleans for over a decade. They give millions of dollars to pediatric brain cancer. The music lineup looks really good. Robert Randolph playing. I've always been a big fan of his. And
he was a
big barbecue big barbecue competition. I mean, I can't wait to get back for that. And I've got a couple of trips planned south to Baton Rouge, New Orleans. I'm going to kind of do a couple of Louisiana, Mississippi runs the next couple of months. And so can't wait to get back down there and look forward to seeing y'all. I'm looking forward to getting by the undisclosed location here in a couple of weeks. So I'm coming.
Let's go.
Yeah, I know this LSU baseball season's kind of headed south, especially with Hate the Hill injury. But I'm still going to hit up that Arkansas LSU Friday night game. Looks like.
Yes, it will be should be a good environment down at the box with Landon Marceau, who is now slid up to the Friday night guy with the past couple of weeks with Hill. Going back and forth, and now with him being out for the season, how was Easter in the Hills, bro?
Man, it was great. So I went to the Highlands, North Carolina, where my sister and brother-in-law would live, and it was my niece's baptism. But that's just such a gorgeous area of the country. It's about an hour from Asheville, beautiful mountain town, and then I was able to sneak over to Charleston, South Carolina, for 2 days and see some old friends. And man, Charleston's one of the gems of the United States. I mean, it's got that 1700s architecture, kind of similar to New Orleans, but it's just a lot cleaner and on the beach and great food. And so I got to hang out and do that too. And so I had a nice little trip there. And I came back, did that Pelicans Nets game Wednesday night, and going to watch a bunch of Masters and college baseball this weekend. And yeah, just a lot going on. I got that Pelicans Knicks game at MSG next Sunday, and then I'm headed. I'll still be headed before I know it. The LSU Ole Miss baseball series and spring game. And the Ole Miss coaching staff reaching out to me the other day meant a lot to me. I got their co-defensive coordinator sent me a message just saying how much the coaching staff loves both Barstool and what I'm doing up there. And really looking forward to collaborating and doing some stuff with them. So I'm looking really pumped about that.
Nice, bro. Nice. You play the Masters? Do you gamble on the Masters?
Yeah, I took a few. I got Patrick Reed at 33-1. He's he had a pretty good day yesterday. The course was playing tough. I take some kind of longer shots. I'm not into taking the 8-1s and stuff. I just don't see how you make money when you take the chalk in golf. But I got Reed and Morikawa as a couple longer shots. He's like 1 over, but that's kind of what I do. I don't play it too big, but I just take a couple of futures. But boy, Justin Rose coming out yesterday. He was 90-1 coming off an injury. He comes out and shoots 7 under. Well, I thought it looked weird that he was 90-1 because he's usually 20-1, but he's coming off injuries. But what a performance for him!
Chris Jarrell wants to know. Ask Mintzy, is Paul Pierce joining Barstool?
I see Dave messing with it a lot. I hope so. I think that would be a great addition. I mean, I think I think that would be really, really funny. I don't know any more than y'all do, which y'all are seeing on social media, but it's certainly, when you look at how much Dave loves Boston, I mean, you got to think that where there's smoke, there's fire usually. Dave Portnoy is not a guy who messes around when he sees stuff usually.
Tom Granning, when you make it down south, ask Mintzy if he's going to get back to Natchez.
I will definitely try to always pass through. I have so much love in my heart for Natchez. Great people. I'll try to get through there when I'm running around for sure.
Ben Mintz checking in from New York City here on this Friday morning, Masters second day of coverage. Do you play the NBA? Do you play MLB? We were talking to Megan Making Money yesterday, and our mutual friend Jimmy Ott bets baseball from nearly spring training through the World Series. Do you play MLB?
Well, so I do pick. I'd be lying if I said I fired big money on it. I mean, you're going to get a lot of $20 bets on me from me to just watch the game and have some rooting interest. I'm not going to sit here and say I'm some like super diehard fan, but I do. And for Pick Central, which I'm hosting right now, Brandon Walker's out with COVID. I do pick. We do picks every day, and so I do fire some MLB. And I've actually been a little hot this week, a little 20-20 and 6 on Pick Central last 3 days. Nice. So hopefully we can keep that going. I fire some baseball and some NBA, and just I wouldn't say I'm a world class savant or anything though.
Mintzy, the Rappaport stuff has been pretty funny too. I mean, are y'all getting y'all getting daily emails from the executive staff over there to just rip Rappaport? Because I mean, they got him crying now. I mean, it's pretty incredible to see the fall.
Well, it just cracks me up. Because Rappaport's whole game was to be, he was a big smack talker, in your face, like guy. And if you're going to have that kind of persona, well, you damn sure better have thick skin and be able to take it. Because all he ever did was dish it out. I'll be honest, I was never a fan at all. Just not for me. And so, that's if your gimmick's going to be to just be like that, then how could you be so soft and you can't take it? I don't know. I'm disappointed.
Mintzy, what's up this weekend?
So headed to D.C., taking a train in the morning, hanging out with one of my best high school friends and his wife. He's a big golf fan, so he's having Masters parties in his house Saturday and Sunday. But the guy who went to LSU and actually is high up in the Federal Reserve right now. And then, headed back here. Man, I hadn't been back to, I went to Oxford over Christmas, but COVID and wasn't a lot going on. I hadn't done the big Oxford trip back since I was the oldest Barstool guy. That LSU series and spring game, I mean, my hopes are high. I think it's going to be pretty wild walking around the small town. I'm kind of just very, very looking, that's my big next huge thing I'm looking forward to.
The president of Oxford, Ben Mintz, on his return the week of 420. Heads up. Mintzy, proud of you, brother. We'll talk next week. Thank you, man.
Oh, yeah, absolutely. Thank y'all for having me, and looking forward to getting by the undisclosed location.
Always. There he is. Ben Mintz checking it. Yes, all right. On brand.
It is.
On brand.
What's he doing?
All right, so there's Ben Mintz checking in from Barstool this morning. Remember, we're brought to you by Elevate Treatment and Legacy Center, located in Baton Rouge, Louisiana. Get in touch with Elevate Treatment and Legacy Center, located on Jefferson Highway, off of Jefferson Highway in Baton Rouge. Elevate is dedicated to treating patients who are battling drug and alcohol addiction. Their goal is to guide you in your steps towards recovery and help you achieve and maintain sobriety. They are a treatment center based in Baton Rouge. They provide treatment for addiction disorders and behavioral illnesses in adults. Get in touch with them online at Elevate, ELEV, the number 8, treatment.com, where you can begin your treatment today. If you're reaching out for yourself or a loved one, try them at elevatetreatment.com. Appreciate everybody's interaction
with Ben Mintz as he was checking in from New York here on day 2 of the Masters. What's everybody doing this weekend, man?
Wait, I got a question. Because you brought up the Paul Pierce thing. Do you think he knew going into that? He's like, I'm going to lose my job.
He had to have.
And he was just like, you know what?
He had
I'm
to
ready
have.
to. I mean, that's a step out. That's I'm stepping out. Like, he was leaving regardless.
Yes. There's no way you can publish that. I mean.
The man was having a time.
Was he having a time, bro? I mean, I thought that broke a little code.
Maybe so.
I mean, like, it was so.
Like athlete's code? Like,
flamboyant that it was like, is he trying to lose his job? I mean,
I wonder if it's contract year.
It was something like it was. I was wondering.
It was blatant.
I was wondering if his wife pissed him off. Like I thought he was like taking a shot at his wife. I mean, because of what he was posting. I mean, he's got a wife and kids. You know what I mean? And like it wasn't an accident.
No, he did it himself.
I mean, it wasn't like it was like,
camera.
Damn, man. I mean, I accidentally posted that. I mean, it was in the. He's burning. He's laughing. He's got the entertainment happening behind him. He knows it's in the shot. I mean, when I saw it, I said, he's got a plan. And then the post the next day where he's laughing into the camera, I'm like, this is all kind of playing out for him.
He got some cojones.
Yeah, he definitely's got some balls on him. Or does he? I mean, when you have the amount of money that you do in the bank like Pierce does, I mean, he kept it a little unprofessional from ESPN's stake, but I mean, is it really a ballsy move?
Oh, it's a ballsy move to lose your job.
Yeah, I guess. I mean, the way in the fashion that he
that's
did.
What I'm saying. It was absolutely playing out in the public eye of like, all right, when everybody saw it posted, everyone saw it. You're like, well, I wonder what ESPN's going to do. This isn't a suspension. This is a, hey, Paul, don't come in. You're done. You know, like, we don't have to have a meeting about this. He's cool.
Yeah, I mean, like, email. I mean, that's just an email from the HR.
I mean, you know what you did.
Here's your papers.
It's unbelievable. What a time.
It was unbelievable, man. I mean, I was there for the party, though.
Yeah,
I mean, that's a hell of a Saturday night.
What a night.
What a night.
Little boy's poker doesn't know it.
Yeah, I mean.
Kind of ruined it for everybody when you say you're having a poker night.
Yeah, that's right. That's right.
I hardly know her.
Go Chevrolet, GEAUX Chevrolet.com. Remember, you can get in touch with Go Chevrolet. Go Express, the new pre-owned and used car lot over here on Florida Boulevard for Go Chevrolet. Check them out online at GEAUX Chevrolet.com. Pelicans back in action tonight as they will be back playing against Philadelphia. This game will be down in the Smoothie King Center. Ben Simmons is coming in, averaging 15 for the 76ers as Zion Williamson leads New Orleans going into the game, as Williamson's averaging 21-4 over his last 10 games. That'll be a 7 o'clock tip-off over at the Smoothie King Center. Javonte Smart made it official yesterday. He is going to forego his senior season at LSU. The junior guard took to Instagram to announce his intentions to enter the NBA draft. He is the second LSU player joining Trendon Watford to make that announcement. Smart said on Instagram that he wanted to thank everybody at LSU, but did say that he was hiring an agent to put himself into the next level. A former Scotlandville standout. He is a Tiger that has scored over 1,000 points in his 3 years. He was an All-SEC second-team selection last season, and he finished third in the SEC in three-point percentage, shooting 42% from the stripe behind the three-point line last year. I gave you my thoughts on Smart yesterday. I think that finding a regular NBA roster spot for Smart is going to be difficult, but I think that there is life for Smart in basketball after college, and I think it with the selections of leagues and international opportunities that present itself, I think Javonte Smart can play basketball at a high level for a long time. I just don't know where he fits in the NBA. I said it yesterday. If you missed it, it's all over our podcast and yesterday's archived over at YouTube. But I don't know where the spot that he fits in the NBA, what it is, especially in today's game where it's become so positionless and what they ask players to do. I mean, a lot of guys 1 through 4 on a roster can bring the ball up. and they can shoot it. They can post up. They can play, not necessarily post up because that art is kind of lost in today's game. But play within 6 to 8 feet of the rim, being 6'7", 6'8", 6'9", with versatility of guys that can shoot, dribble, pass, and score score with touch around the basket. And when you talk about Javante's skill set, he is a highly skilled player that has improved tremendously year to year in college over the last 3 seasons and came in with a lot of hype. Javante Smart was a 3-year starter on the U.S. underclass team. Coming up. I mean, under 14, under 15, under 16. I mean, all 3 years, or maybe even 4 years that he was at Scotlandville, he was a part of the Team USA junior squad. So I mean, he came in with a lot of hype for LSU, and I think he improved tremendously every year. I said yesterday, if I was in his counsel, if I was advising him, I would say come back. I mean, just come back. Leave a legacy at LSU in your hometown that you can grow off of, right? I mean, like you can come back and Tasman Mitchell. I mean, look at Tasman Mitchell. Tasman Mitchell's a great example of a guy that played 5 years at LSU, came back after an injury and put in so much time, and really is a guy that he didn't pay for a meal anywhere. He probably was at the time from an experience standpoint could have used a smaller level job to get prepared for life in the SEC on a coaching staff, but for what he accomplished at LSU and the time and the energy that he spent and with the institution, the love that he has for the place, and his ability to recruit, coach, and his relationship building with the team, got him an opportunity with LSU basketball. So, I think that Javante Smart he's not closed the door on any of that. I just think that he still has something that he could build on, and I think his stock today is the same as it would be 365 days from now with the NBA. I don't know how much he can really improve his stock. He kind of is who he is. So, from his standpoint, I think that he's an international player when it's all said and done, which you can make a really good life. I mean, I would take the Tasman Mitchell example and then come with the Daryl Mitchell example as far as international guys that, Daryl played plus 10 years internationally, lived in cool spots all over Europe, places like Monaco where he won championships, where he can walk into, and he's a hero. Tasman Mitchell has great stories about going over to Europe to play. Once Daryl Mitchell was established, Tasman kind of bounced around and couldn't find a spot. Tasman played in Russia, he played in Turkey, he played in Greece, he played in Italy, and he finally caught on and had some success for about a 3-year run. And he tells stories about going to play Daryl Mitchell's teams or teams that Daryl Mitchell was playing for, and the love that D. Mitch had throughout Europe and throughout some of those towns and some of those countries. He is regarded as, think about how we think of our athletes. He's thought of like that within the European culture. And, I remember when Daryl Mitchell first left Baton Rouge and went to Europe to play. The calls, the emails that he would send back to LSU basketball, his dad at the time, his family. You were talking about somebody that had never been out of the country. First time he'd ever gotten on an airplane was his first road trip at LSU. Just talking about the food and the language barrier and everything that, just was a foreign country. But to plus 10 years later, to see the legacy he left behind will be I mean, it would be a great resource for somebody to get in and get a success story of playing international basketball. Chris Jarrell, Smart will be a two-way player, D-League in the NBA. I don't know. I don't know, Chris. I hope you're right. I think that, when you talk about a guy like Garrett Temple, I think his defensive ability got him into the league. We were talking about it yesterday. I think you need one skill set for a general manager, a decision maker to look at you and say, hey, we can build off of that. Tremont Waters' ball handling and shooting capability. May not have the size, may not have the defensive matchup standpoint, be able to match up for guys against his position, but he can dribble it and he can shoot it. Get him in here and let's see if we can't coach him up. Skylar Mays, his ability to get to the rim. What does Javonte do great that you say, get him in, let's refine that, and we can build up the things around him? I think he's a really solid basketball player. Really solid. He does a lot of things good. Smart. He does. Does he do anything great? Does he do anything that makes you say, wow, I got to have that? I got to have him for his defense. I got to have him for his shooting. I got to have him for his ball handling. I got to have him for his leadership qualities. I got to have him for whatever it may be that you want to cite and source that you want your player to have. He's good. He's solid. Is he an NBA player? In my opinion, he's not. I think he's an international possibly superstar. So we'll see. Javonte makes it. He made it official yesterday. I would imagine that Cam Thomas will be next. Darius Days and the rest of the crew to follow suit here as they make their announcement on the next level. Remember, Hub International Insurance is the official insurance agency of the New Orleans Saints, the New Orleans Pelicans, and of course the Jordy Culotta Show. We were talking to Ben Mintz, who was up in New York. Nathan Velasquez is up in New York as well, as the 5-minute critic is getting set for.
That's Dylan.
Yeah, I was about to say, who is that?
Who is this man? Go on in.
As he is up in New York, coast to coast this morning, we will go out to New York City and check in with Nate.
Hey, man.
Hey, buddy. How we feeling?
Pretty good. How's it going over there today?
Doing good. Getting set for a weekend, which looks like it's going to bring some rain. How's the? We were just talking to Ben Mintz, and it seems like New York City is it's starting to feel like springtime up there in NYC. How was Manhattan?
Oh no, it's awesome. Lynn and I are over here right now. We're visiting her family over on the East Coast, and then it's good to hear that it's raining over there because we're going over there tomorrow.
Oh, sweet.
But no, New York City is so nice. It's been so long since I've been here, and they're totally open. Things feel like totally back to normal over here. It's really nice.
Nice. I love that. I love New York City, man. I love New York when it's buzzing and when the people are moving and when the weather is right and when the vibes are good.
Which one would you pick, Nate, if you had to choose? New York, which coast are you going?
Oh yeah, that's the conversation that I've been having while we've been over here. I don't know. There's something just so. I don't mean because of all the pandemic stuff, everyone getting over that. Like the city here is just so alive in a way that I mean it's the greatest city in the world.
Yeah.
Yeah. There you go. Honestly, right now feeling the East Coast a little bit.
Oh, all right. Nate, I was reading a story about Zach Avery, the actor who was arrested for running a Hollywood movie scheme over in L.A. that I want to get to you with. But there is a argument that has butted up since COVID has arisen on the relevance of movie theaters. This week there was a huge story that was a good one for the theater goers. What was it?
Oh yeah, this is the first weekend since it's been over a year now, really, since theaters have actually been open. This is the first time since Godzilla vs. Kong, which came out last weekend, that we've gotten a normal release. Like we've been getting movies come out, it's kind of like they'll hit the 50 million mark, like worldwide 50 million, which is nothing really in terms of a blockbuster. This is the first time that we've got something that goes over the $200 million mark, which is, that's money talks. That's a sign that people are pretty much done, and they're going back to the movie theaters at the rate that they were before all this stuff happened.
What did you think? Did you see Godzilla versus Kong? What'd you think of it?
I haven't gotten a chance to see it yet, but honestly, like, the buzz is pretty incredible. It seems like a bunch of people out. Have any of you guys seen it over there yet?
I've seen it. I've seen it.
I've heard things.
It's a blockbuster. It's one of these movies that, and this is what I was thinking to myself when you talked about the theaters opening. It's not the movies that you would think that, that are going to win the awards when they go, when it's award season. It's these movies that are just epic on the screen that people want to see. Like, it's just a big bukkake of action.
Oh yeah, well, who cares about the awards, really? Is it fun?
That's what I'm saying. It's just a good watch. Like, there's no real plot to it, but it's just a bunch of action, and a lot happened on screen. We're like, oh, this is an experience.
Plot's overrated. We don't need it.
Exactly. Yep. You're in the right field.
So what does this mean for HBO Max?
Well, HBO Max has done this day-and-day release, like same-day releases. It goes out in theaters, and then it comes out on HBO Max, which was, a pretty brilliant pivot in terms of what was going on with the pandemic and everything. But now they have announced they're getting rid of that pretty much. They're going to do like a 45-day window. So they kind of had like an artificial boost on the competition, because of the pandemic. But now seeing that, people had the option with Kong versus Godzilla, they could have watched it at home or they could have gone to the theater. And they chose, screw it, we're not watching it at home. We're actually going to go to the movie theaters. We got to get out of the house.
Yeah.
So, and the competitive edge that they had with the same day release, the argument, I don't know if it'll, stay around. I mean, I don't know if that'll allow HBO Max to continue having that competitive edge to compete with Disney Plus, to compete with Netflix. But I mean, HBO has pretty much the greatest TV shows in the world, though. Yeah. So it has that.
Speaking of, I'm diving back into the Wire, buddy. Which I forgot how good it was. I really did. I just thought, I forgot how progressive the writing was. You forget that it's 2002. I mean, they're still talking on Nokia block cell phones.
Yeah, it's weird to watch. When was, I don't quite remember, because I wasn't really aware whenever all this stuff was coming out. Did The Sopranos and The Wire come out at the same time? Or was The Wire, like, before that?
No, I don't think it was before Sopranos. I mean, somebody might want to check me on this.
I'm checking right now.
But I think that The Sopranos was probably a little bit...
Released in 99.
Okay, so it was 99, and The Wire was 2002.
Okay. Ended in 07, Sopranos did.
Okay, so they kind of ran next to each other.
Kind of concurrently.
They were running almost parallel to one another. But I forgot how good the acting was, and there's a lot of New Orleans feel to it. I mean, like the music...
That's true.
The music, there's a lot of reference to New Orleans, and then the same director that produced or wrote or not wrote but directed The Wire he's the guy that did Treme, right?
Yeah, I never really got fully into that show. I think I made it through like half of the first season. But, in terms of creating a vibe, it nails the New Orleans feel. Absolutely.
Yeah, and there was a lot of crossover from the actors from The Wire to Treme, like Wendell Pierce, obviously being the most notable.
Yeah, and isn't he a Baton Rouge native?
He's a New Orleans guy.
Oh, okay.
He went to St. Aug.
Really? No way.
Yeah.
But great show. Michael K. Williams, incredible.
Nate, what's your beef with Borat 2?
It's not funny. Borat's not in the thing. Borat's hardly in the thing.
It's a Politico piece.
Yeah, well, it is. My first issue with it is like, Borat is so famous that he's walking around. Obviously, he can't really be doing the pranks because everyone's in on the joke. Right. My biggest beef is that. It's kind of like, Borat's not in this. Yeah, and then after that, like, the thing is, I don't care what the politics is, but if you're going to be that political, it's not very funny. And that just lost me. That part of it just lost me. It kept asking me to get involved with something that I just didn't think was funny. I mean, I'll watch an SNL skit if I want that type of thing.
5 Minute Critic is growing, buddy. Congratulations on some of the hits that you got this week. I saw where your Joker review went over 1,500 hits.
Let's go.
And some of the some of the numbers are on the move.
Yeah, we just got actually past 2,000 on that Joker video. Yeah, and we reached 100 subscribers. Been growing slowly but surely. Yeah, no, if people want to, obviously. But someone even called me out. I was talking to someone in New York, and they're like, "What are you doing? These videos are 3.5 minutes. They all have to be 5 minutes long." If you want a film review that's quick, gets to the point about what is good or what's bad about a movie, yeah, absolutely subscribe. We put reviews out on Tuesdays and Thursdays.
Nathan, and every Friday you can hear him here on the Jordy Culotta Show. Have a great weekend in the city, man. I'm jealous of you up in New York. Enjoy it.
You too. You guys have a great weekend.
All right, man. There he is, Nathan Velasquez, checking in this morning from New York City as this Friday has flown by here. I hope everybody has a great weekend. Any weekend plans out there? Anyone? What you got?
I got a gig tonight.
Okay.
Hanging out at a private little party.
We got a little a tradition unlike any other. We've been doing this for the past 5 years. A little Masters Sunday party down in Lafayette. I might do a little. You might catch some content down there. It gets a little squirrely. Little jello shots for every birdie, for every you got the little bets on. When Tiger won, which we all had a significant amount of money on, did not drive home. Had to get a ride from the lady and threw up at a Chevron parking lot.
Nice, great effort.
But dude, it was funny. We were talking about it. It's like didn't feel a thing the whole time because the adrenaline was pumping. I'm with him every shot. I feel great. 15 minutes into the drive, I was like, I'm not doing this.
Pull over.
Dude, it's over.
Pull over. I know the feeling. I know the feeling. John Saul Spillers Dentistry brings you the Jordy Culotta Show every day. Remember, get in touch with the dentist over there at John Saul and Spillers. Of course, you can catch him in Gonzales. You can catch him in Baton Rouge. Anything that you need. You think of anything that you can get done with the dentist, John Saul and Spillers can help you out. In fact, if you need Botox done, guys can help you as well. Over at John Saul and Spillers. They're online, johnsaulspillers.com. Get in touch with Dr. John Saul and Dr. Spillers today to help you out. Pediatric dentist needs, you need crowns, emergency treatment, you need any type of dentistry that you need. You can get in touch with Dr. John Saul and Dr. Spillers over at johnsaulspillers.com. All right, it's Friday, and I'm cutting out early, man.
Let's
get out of here. Yep. Enjoy the weekend. We will be back Monday morning, 7 a.m. We'll recap the weekend from Lexington. Obviously, we'll be recapping the Masters, and we will start talking about LSU's football spring game, which will be next Saturday. So a week from tomorrow, you'll have a chance to see what the LSU Tigers have been working on the last couple of weeks.
Do we want to shoot for Harper's?
Yes.
Oh, yes. And a quick Masters update. Just got one from the Pops. Rose in trouble on one.
Okay.
Already. I'm telling you, that back felt a little tight.
Back tightening up.
All right, real quick, guys, if you want to get into this Harper's giveaway, go ahead and go to @HarpersBR on Instagram. Follow them. Drop your Instagram handle in the chat. And I'm going to pick someone to win $250, which has already been won because Jordy just nailed it.
The man's getting hot. The man is getting hot. Oh.
So we got one.
All right, so we got 250, we pick a winner?
Yeah, 250. So follow Harper's BR on Instagram. Drop your Instagram handle in the chat. I'm going to pick someone to win $250 because Jordy just nailed that J.
All right, let's go, Lizzie.
Here, dude. Let's go for. It's just such a tough angle.
The angle is brutal.
Yeah, I mean,
let me see if I can
I
get
was
one.
knocking him down.
If you,
I nailed it in the layup line, but I don't know if I'm gonna get it this time. Let's see.
If you can hit that one, that should probably be like double.
Yeah, that's
a tough shot. That's a tough shot.
Nikki with no touch, no feel.
Too much sauce, bro. I had it.
Sounds
when
like
I
you're building houses back there, Nikki.
It's all right.
All right. So we have our Harper's. We've got our Harper's qualifier there. We did win a $250 shot. Let's go to. We're gonna scroll up here and we're gonna stop on. She's already won. He's already won. We're gonna go with Sarah Almeida. Sarah Almeida. 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 Told you so.
You take some chances on pronunciation.
You got to just jump. Email Nick at JordyCulottaShow.com. We'll send you over to Harper's Haberdashery for your $250 gift card. Appreciate Sam and everybody over there at Harper's. We're back with you Monday morning. Presented every day by Go Chevrolet.
Let's go.